what's good, Joe? To my review for this week's episode of My Hero Academia Season 4, bro. Yo, I gotta say, y'all, this episode was amazing. Like, bruh. This episode was fucking fire. Like, this was actually a lot better than I expected. Now, I kind of knew that some shit was going to happen because we're going to see LaBrava's quirk in this episode. I know some people on Twitter and Instagram were saying, like, oh, this next episode's going to be great. It's going to be, like, it's going to be emotional and shit. So, I came in, expecting something. And it wasn't really, I was like, okay, this should be interesting. But I did not expect it to be this good. Like, LaBrava and Gentle's backstory are interesting, and I got a lot to say about Gentle's backstory when we get to that. We'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I was he was brought to the VAs here for Gentle and LaBrava. They both did excellent jobs here. But yeah, enough of me rambling on. Let's just jump right into this episode because there was a lot in this episode, especially when it came to Gentle. There's so much I want to say about Gentle, but we'll get to him when we get to him. So we start the episode off. We started off with Monoma. The dude's just like started doing this laugh, which I'm like, fam, can we all ask the question how Monoma hasn't given himself a fucking stroke? Like, bruh. And he's going on about Kendo, like, and everyone about we see Kendo in the dress. She looks good in it. I also gotta mention, I do not like her Japanese voice. Her dub voice is way better, if you ask me. But anyway, so Monoma's like, man, I didn't expect this to be the side of the woman that sold her soul to violence. And Kendo's like, is that a compliment or an insult? He's like, a compliment! And they're all Monoma and the guys are already set up in their uniforms for Romeo and Juliet and the Prisoner of Azkaban, the Return of the King. I still can't get over that title. I hope we see the play, just to see. I hope Horticulture showed the play. If not, both, please put it in there. I want to see the play out of morbid curiosity. Please. But anyway. So, so they're kind of talking about it, and you've got some of the other guys saying, like, oh, isn't that dress a little too sexy? Yada, yada, yada. Then Nejire comes in there, and she's like, oh my god, Kendo, you look so pretty, and, all that. And so they're over, like, yeah, we're gonna fight. Then we have that. Then Rose Rose colors come into the screen, and we see that broad with those big ass eyelashes, like Christ, obnoxiously big ass eyelashes, be like, oh, I am the greatest of beauty, or whatever the fuck she said. I wasn't paying attention. I was just like, bitch, get off my TV, Don't like looking at it. But anyway, after that, we then head over to with Eri and Togata. Togata is like, he reads off some of the things we got over at the school festival. You got the concert, the beauty pageant, the play, and lunch. All that stuff. He listed off to Eri, and she asked him, and it looks like they're in a taxi. I could, at least from what we've seen, you got Eri in the back seat and Togata's in the front seat. And she's like, oh, are you, and he asks Aaron, are you excited to see Izuku, performing? She's like, oh man, Aaron, man, she's so cute. Oh, that's when she tried to smile last week. If that didn't melt your heart, I'll mention it again, I'll say it again. If that shit didn't melt your heart, man, you have no fucking soul, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, afterwards, we return back to the action with our boy Izuku. So after Izuku puts down the steel bar, and while Gentle and the others are making their way out, Izuku tries to jump off, but he actually ends up hitting one of the pads, or whatever you want to call them, that Gentle laid up to help him bounce around. And he gets a flashback to where he says that he can't instantly turn off the effects of his quirk. They happen gradually. Which is what happens. So he ends up using that crane that's like vling, 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 that's moving like crazy. He uses that to launch himself upward, and he starts catching up to them. They're like, oh shit, and then she got LaBrava saying that let's use my quirk, but Gentle says no, let's save it for the retreat, and then this LaBrava gets caught. And so then Gentle and LaBrava hit the ground first. Once they hit the ground, they head over. They start running away while Izuku goes after them. Izuku then starts to memorize where they kind of bounce from, and he just starts taking off from those points. He manages to take one, and then just comes straight, and kind of like dives down to the ground, having his finger up in the position with to let out one of those air bolts. Gentle manages to put up another shield around him on the side where Izuku is not on. doesn't have any protection behind him. So he puts a shield up. Then Izuku just proved once again why he's best one. And I don't know why Horikoshi said in that interview with Kuba that Izuku can't think on the fly when literally that's when he can. I don't know if that was a mistranslation or what, but that always kind of felt me as or maybe meant in a different way. I'm not sure, but either way, my man Izuku then shifts over, then faces up to the sky and fires up the airplane and uses those platforms or bounce or pads or whatever you want to call them, and has the airboat bounce off of them and nails Gentle right in the chest. I, of course, pop big for this in my reaction, which we'll talk more about my reaction when we get to La Brava, which is right after this. So he gets down there, dives down to them, and tackles them both down to the ground and tells them to give up. La Brava's like, Gentle, and we get her name. We find out her real name is, apologies if I butcher this, Manami Aiba? I think I say, and we see a little bit of her back in middle school. Now, if you actually guys pay attention to the ED, now I know I mentioned in one of my earlier reviews that I was going to do a little bit of analysis of the ED. I'm going to do some over here, and I do plan on doing. I think I might stay there for the last episode review when I'll then kind of dive in on what I think is going to happen with the ED and some of my theories, because I know there's actually a lot in that ED from manga readers like Shiggy. He mentioned that there's a lot in there. From recent shit too in the manga. Recent shit. But anyway, I digress. So, we see her in middle school, and she actually sends out this love letter to someone she had a crush on. You cute middle school type shit. The dude starts ridiculing, oh man, my auntie from class 3 sent me this love letter. I've never talked to this woman once a day in my life, and she sent me this love letter. And what's in there is just proof that she was following me, fam. And they're like, oh, creepy shit, man. Yeah, man, she's a stalker, dude. And he's like, damn, man. That's fucked up. And you got La Brava, hiding behind the door, and she's just listening in, and she just starts crying, whatever. So then she became a straight up shut-in, just sitting there with trash can with fucking trash bags all over, I've noticed one thing, but you gotta at least give the Japanese, even the shut-ins are surprisingly tidy. Ish, relatively speaking. They at least put their trash away trash, man, just have them stacked and just have them pile up. If it was here in the States, forget about it. There'll be nothing, man. It'd just be junk everywhere. Forget it. So you at least gotta give the Japanese credit. Even their shut-ins are tiny-ish, relatively speaking. But yeah, so she's just sitting there, and keep on, she's in middle school, so I don't know why her parents haven't come in there and be like, bitch, get your ass to school! I don't know. Maybe she lives by herself. Maybe she doesn't have parents. I don't know. We never got an answer on that front. But we definitely know that Gentle definitely has parents, because we see them later on in the episode. But anyway, so they go in there. So she goes in there, she's just mindlessly searching on YouTube, I guess. Just And then she says, maybe I'll end my life today, or my life will end today. She's surprisingly suicidal during this time. And she even goes and mentions that suicidal shit one more time around the end of the episode, which we'll talk about that in a second. Later on, I should say. So then she stumbles upon Gentle's first video, and she says the Gentle was the light that brought me, that was the light, showed me the light that was you, and then she puts her hair up and everything, goes to find him, and we know what happens from there, and he brought her in. Which, one thing I probably mentioned, she mentions how La Brava mentions that she is a huge fan of Gentle. She's her number one fan, stalks and everything, yet, if you look on his first video, there's not a single like on it, but there's 68 dislikes. I got a question, you La Brava. Are you really a big fan? You couldn't drop the man a like? Huh? La Brava? Huh? I'm sorry, I brought it because Gene actually brought that up in his review about the no likes, which I didn't even notice. So yeah, I had to find a way to bring it up here in my review. So yeah. So anyway. Afterwards, so she goes in there, he accepts her, and they go on doing missions and stuff, and he helps her out, and she grows feelings for him and all that other shit. We've already kind of seen this. And we even saw one of the missions they do after the cops show up. You see them kind of just tiptoeing their way around, away from the cops, which I thought was so cool, man. It looked so cool. They looked kind of cool, them just tiptoeing away. I thought that was cool, very old school villainy type shit. I loved it, man. I loved it. That I found really cool. So props to my man Horikoshi for that. So anyway, We also then later on, and one thing I forgot to mention, while it's still going on, she's kind of always like pulling her eye back, being like, "Oh, these dark circles won't go away." Now, I always thought these dark circles were just makeup that she put on that was obviously exaggerated for manga purposes, because mangakas and all that stuff, and that's Horikoshi style. But no, I guess she's like born with these, even though it looks like she just has like a hell of a lot of like eyeshadow. Maybe she does, it just won't come up. I don't know, but I found that kind of strange. And so he gives her this tea, and then he asks her about her code name being La Brava. She starts crying, even like a tear falls into the tea a little bit. I don't know if that's still drinkable, but I mean, hey, since with this virus going around, since the coronavirus nowadays, guys, it's been fucking crazy. People are buying shit, but do you know, I literally saw on Twitter that people are selling toilet paper on eBay for like $100. Who the fuck in their right mind would buy that shit? Last time I checked, this ain't Fallout, and we're buying shit off of bottle caps. Like, bruh, come on now. It's the fucking flu, ladies and gentlemen. It's the fucking flu. Calm down. This ain't the end of the world. You are not going to become clickers. Anyway, just had to look this coronavirus shit inside. And the movies that have been delayed by this, man, ooh, that's some bullshit. Y'all have gone too far with that shit, man. Y'all have gone too far with that shit. I'm still going to do my top 10 most anticipated list, but I might have to change the list up a bit now, just because the movies are getting delayed left and right. But anyway, enough of me diddling down on that. Let me get back to the episode. So she goes in there, she tells the code name La Brava, she starts crying, and then we head back to Izuku. He's telling them, don't resist, this, that, and the third. And so afterwards, La Brava actually says, "I love you." She has tears in her eyes and everything, and he's like, "Thank you, La Brava." And then, while Izuku's like holding them both down, the dude we didn't get to find out what La Brava's quirk is. And the weird thing is about this one is the presentation of it, because you guys know whenever we get introduced to a character, we found their quirk, we get the whole freeze frame, stylized colors and everything, and you got Prema being like, this character, his quirk, this, that whole thing. We didn't get that. I mean, we still got the whole present Mike explaining the quirk, but we didn't get the freeze frame and all that other stuff, and it wasn't as enthusiastic as it usually is, but I found that kind of weird. I don't know if that means that Bones is moving away from that, because I love when he does a quirk, or it was just for this one-time thing. I don't know, but I found that kind of strange. Anyway, we find out her quirk is legit called love, and that pretty much she can take a character that she takes her love that she can give after she tells someone, gives a person, I don't remember the exact, but pretty much a character she can like pretty much power up a character through her love, like what she did here with Gentle. Tell her she loves him, and that legit powers him. It's essentially Super Saiyan. She essentially is giving these, instead of getting Super Saiyan through anger, it's legit through love, through La Brava. That's essentially what it is. I'm pretty sure, I'm probably going to call a type video called Super Saiyan Through Love, or Going Super Saiyan Through Love, or Super Saiyan With Love. It's going to be something along those lines, because that's essentially what this form was. And if it's in a crisis, it can up and go out to tens of times up its power level. So, it's essentially just a power up with love. That's essentially what it is. And so then Gentle starts to get up more, and Izuku can't really hold him down, and he goes up and he manages to get out of Izuku's grab. He ends up flipping him there before landing on the ground. And Gentle goes on like, "Oh, I don't like to use violence, so I usually cut these parts out." And and I don't think I mentioned her, but La Brava mentions how that they pretty much only use her quirk for when they have to make their escape, not when they're actually in a fight. But this is different. We're else and you're against Izuku, yada yada yada. So afterwards, so she goes over there. He's giving her La Brava. He goes over there and does that neck chop that instantly knocks out people. And or at least in theory, that's what he thought it was. He was like, "You'll sleep well, Izuku Midoriya." So he goes off. Izuku then just starts to give. He's like, "Bitch, I have faced up way stronger and way faster people than you. I'm not done yet." And the look in his eye, and he like has his hand like facing towards him, ready to do another air bullet. And and the look in his eyes, that was awesome. Then they legit go to commercial here. You have the whole like title cards here. Which I was like, "Oh, motherfucker, you go to commercial here? Come on now." Like, just when it starts to get good. So then, we get back to the commercial. He fires off the air bullet. And from there, Izuku and Gentle start facing off each other. They actually start facing off in the air. And it legit looks like a DBZ fight with a just like the white lines that kind of like these mini explosions before they just keep going. It looked very DBCX, which doesn't help with the whole thing. And his hair even sticks up too as well when he uses his love power-up mode, which I thought that was also kind of. I sort of this has to be Dragon Ball reference. I mean, I know Chibi mentioned this arc is filled with pop culture, and we've seen a decent chunk of them, like I mentioned before. Apparently, that whole thing with the U-Fire is probably maybe based on Trump, but I also said it was probably based off of Men in Black. I already mentioned that play, and there's probably some other stuff that I'm missing, and this is probably another one of those references. So anyway, so as they're facing off, they eventually go up into the street. Gentle then actually hits the Gently Sandwich, which has like a bunch of the little platforms or whatever, and just piles to on top of each, keep him down to the ground. And he's going off that I will live that my plan is not something so trivial that I can give up when someone tells me to. I will leave my name I will carve my name in history for prosperity. And while you're doing this, a small shot of this character's mouth we see for like a brief second. Which remember that could come into play way later, a little bit later in the episode. So we see that, and he's going on about this about a million years, yada yada yada. Izuku then actually, my man legit punches the ground, goes underground, pops up, and then goes over there and goes over to Gentle, which I thought that whole thing was awesome. When Izuku goes into the ground and comes right back up, that was hype. So he goes up there, grabs Gentle, and he's like, "Why you?" And he also says, "Well, Izuku's under that you should understand my journey for my dream." And Izuku's like, "If you understand so much, why the school festival? Why now? Why now?" It's like, because that's how it has to be. And he's like, so you're going to steal the heart, the passion of the hard work and passion of people, and the smile of a little girl that doesn't know how to smile, obviously referring to Eri. And he's like, if it means I can get my dream, hell yeah, man! He didn't say all that, but like I'm paraphrasing. But that's essentially what I mean, like, if it means I can get my dream, if I can get my dream. So then we get to Gentle's backstory. Now this was really interesting stuff. And I love how it went back to stuff with the hero license, with the hero licenses and the quirk license and all that stuff. Which, let's have me just talk about. Let's just dive right in. So we started off. He's in the class. So he's talking like, he wants to be here. He wants to be great enough great enough to be in the history books. He wants his name to be out there. He wants to be well known, as we know from how he is now. But then we find out something different, something odd. Something strange. Now, if you look next to him, his mom is there with like a tissue or a handkerchief over her face. Now you might say, "Oh, Glenn, she's probably just hot, wiping away some sweat," or something along those lines. Well, we find out that Gentle is 18 years old in his second year of high school. Yeah. You heard me right, ladies and gentlemen. Gentle is legit in his second year of high school and is at age 18. This man has been held back, and as they mention later on, the teacher or the counselor or whoever the hell he is mentions that our school ain't that prestigious, man, and yet here you are still failing the exams and keep getting held back. And he also mentions that he's failed the provisional license exam 4 times. He's failed it 4 times. And that the only thing he really can offer to him is to voluntarily withdraw, which I'm assuming that means essentially drop out of high school. I think that's what he means by that, at least me personally. I might be wrong. If I am, tell me in the comments. But then, and then his mom mentioned that Takeshita, I think the dude's name was, like, the hero was already looking after him. And that's her mom saying this, and you can tell she's like, well, she's so disappointed in her son. And she's like, "Oh, don't worry, Mom. I won't be discouraged. I'll do my best." I'm like, "Fam, you're 18, second year of high school. For the love of God." Yeah, I don't know about that, fam. There's a difference between not giving up and not being able to do it in the first place. But then we see him. He's in this cafe, of course, drinking some coffee. A guy walks by and he says, "Oh, hero, swim right here." And we see a guy that's like dangling over from this little platform on top of on top of the building. Now I'm sure my Spider-Man faithful know this scene all too well, because this has been like one of those like side missions where you rescue people like Spider-Man 2 and Ultimate Spider-Man. I wouldn't be surprised that was what Horikoshi was referencing, man. It was right, because we know how big of a Marvel guy Horikoshi is, specifically Spider-Man. So yeah, Gentle goes in there, he runs towards him, and he thinks that he can give the guy a cushion, so he puts out one of his little platforms, or whatever you want. I don't know if we at least got an exact name for them, but you know, those little like pads he puts out. And then a hero comes out of flying tie, glides down the building, and hits it directly, and sending him flying back. Then the dude falls. He completely misses the guy. The beam or the platform or whatever hits the thing, bounces over, and literally lands right on top of him. Yes, you heard me right. It legit lands right on top. Now, I thought the dude legit died. Like, he legit, like, he pretty much, you know, kind of almost killed him, you know, almost murdered him. But, and you can see the look of Gentle's face. He's just like, oh shit. And then next time, once he's in this interrogation room with some cops, they say that that the guy, that he's seriously injured, and that he'll take him 6 months to fully recover. So the dude's still alive. How? I don't know. Maybe this has to be the luckiest guy, because from a fall that height and landing right there onto the concrete with that thing on top of you, stop counting your fucking blessings, man. Jesus Christ. But anyway, so he comes over there. So afterwards he comes down. Or so that they say that he'll take 6 months to recover, and that what he did was obstruction of official duties, and that he will get charged with a crime, and then we see a note that says withdrawn, so he's dropping out of high school, and then we see a shot of his mom and his dad, and they're on the phone. He's looking at the doorway, and they're talking. That's while he was still talking with the cops. And then last time we see, after he withdraw and everything, we see a shot of him with a backpack, and his mom is just legit throwing shit at him. And you got the OST playing, which added so much to the scene. And then we see him as a part-time. And, you know, he's about like 22, I think, or whatever, part-timer. He's like, oh, you know, spring's so nice, I can eat wild vegetables. And then we see Takashita, or whatever his name was. He's a full-fledged hero. Apparently he has his own agency now. Gentle recognizes him, and he runs up and he's like, hey man, you got your own agency? That's great. And he's like, hey man, do you remember me? We used to go to the same class together. And he's like, who are you again? And the look on his face, he's just like, oh. Like his dream, like he completely lost sight of his dream and everything. So then he rushes over back to his place, goes through his shit, and finds the history of villainy! And that's when we return back to Izuku and the other guys. Now, one thing I liked about this, and this is probably going to go to like 30 minutes probably because of how much on top of this, but one thing I liked about this, I liked how we saw the other side of the coin when it comes to Hero Lights. Now, you guys might remember, if you guys have been with my channel for a decent chunk of time, you guys remember back when Season 3 was airing, I did a video, an episode discussion, episode 9, about Hero License being a double-edged sword. If I remember, I'll put that video up in the iCards above. You guys want to check that out if you have not. It's actually one of my personal favorite videos. I've always liked that video. I like most, if not all, my Hero Waka discussions videos. They're always some of my better videos, in my personal opinion. But, yeah. Yes, once I see that, you guys can check that out. In that video, I mentioned how they're a double-edged sword, how they that they could be a detriment to people, or that they could be a detriment because you could have, say, someone who has a particular core, like maybe someone's getting mugged, or raped, or jumped, or something along the line. A bank robbery is into, and a citizen or someone who's just passing by, who has a quirk, who could have the right quirk for the job, that could end up stopping the criminals, but doesn't have a hero license, could end up getting in trouble for it. And, you know, that could lead to other problems, and, like, you know, like, you're a hero, you're supposed to save people, but yet, you know, all this, and how it could be a detriment. But this episode proved why, this is why they're a thing! Because, remember, Gentle failed the provisional license exam 4 times. 4 times he failed that exam, and he's in his 2nd year of high school, age 18, and keeps getting held back. And I liked how this episode showed the other side. Like I mentioned for that episode, Season 3, I mentioned how it showed could be a detriment and also some of the pros of it. This really showed you why. This is why they exist. And I like that Horikoshi actually went and chose. Because remember, he failed the licensing exam 4 times. Now, there's probably a good reason for that. And I think it has something to do with this, with like his overall just power level with his quirk. Now, we don't know how. Now, from what we could gather from General Remember, the dude just kind of ran up there and just threw it. He didn't really. It was more of like a lackadaisical kind of thing where he just kind of threw out there in the moment, just like go, just throw it out. Rather than say someone who that. Rather than like, let me take a mill and let me put it where it needs to be. Because remember, he just for the way he put it, he ended up stopping Akiro, him, Kuna, and he could have possibly gotten somebody killed from it bouncing and just landing right on top. He could have very easily gotten someone killed. He could have very easily done that. But yet, he got lucky. And I like that because it shows that the reason probably that I before I keep repeating myself, but like they showed you why it exists because let's be honest, Gentle, at least probably at that moment, nowadays it looks like he's probably a little bit more control over his core. He probably isn't the most versatile, the most well versed when it comes to his quirk. Like before, the way he kind of threw it out there just out in the open was very lackadaisical and not really much of thinking about. He kind of just threw it there out of the moment rather than just like, okay, let me figure out where to put it, like, and like think about it. He just kind of, it looked like he just kind of threw it out there and didn't really think too hard on where exactly he was placing because, it kind of set off this whole domino effect. And, yeah. I really just like how Horikoshi did that and just throwing us away. Like I mentioned before in that video how like they could be a detriment. This is just why. Hey, this is why they're actually a thing. Because like I mentioned before, meant he failed the exam 4 times, and you could tell that he's probably not the well versed in his quirk, and that he hasn't really known the complete capabilities. Nowadays, you could probably make out that he's probably a lot more experienced with his quirk now than he was then. But still. I thought that was a nice little touch there, Horikoshi shown there, and something I could have called back to an older video of mine. So yeah. Anyway, back to the episode. So Izuku and Gentle are still facing off against Labrava's. No, my love, it's enough. And then while they're going at it, Izuku's just kind of going, trying to find a way to get to Labrava or to get to Gentle. Labrava ends up going up there and she starts putting in the code and everything to put in the code and everything to hack into the system. So she she opens up her laptop while Izuku's fighting Gentle. She goes in there and she ends up not being able to, and she said she has to hack in, she has to go into the to the school's internet through a special Wi-Fi, and then she can access it and hack into everything. She tries it, but she can't. It just barely doesn't reach it, so she has to get closer. So she grabs like some dirt or whatever and just starts smearing all over her face to obviously mask her scent. She goes over there and just like, no, bravo. No. And Izuku goes over there. Then we get some hardcore stuff where Gentle punches Izuku into like a wall or something, or to a tree. Look to me, the animation there was fantastic. Then we also see Izuku hit the St. Louis smash, which is a devastating as fuck kick. I was like, damn, man, that is like one devastating kick you got there. And the animation there looks fucking amazing as well. And they also have a test of strength. And then Gentle asks Izuku, like, why do you want to be here? And he says that he's like you, that the dream's too big for my body I was born with, and that he wants to, meet everyone's expectations and, be the best. All that shit. He's like, oh, we're the same. And so, yeah, that's when Izuku starts to, bounce back. The fight itself was amazing, man. So, Labrava goes over there, goes a little closer. She gets there, but then she sees the guy they got tracked there, I forget his name, as well as, like, a bunch of clones of ectoplasm. So they're all one close. She's just like, shit. She runs back to Gentle, and when she gets back there, Izuku has him pinned down to the ground. And Lavrava's just like, no! She has tears in her eyes still. She drops her laptop, and then she's just like, no, Gentle. And I won't lie. You can't help but feel bad for these two after you learn the backstory in this whole part of the episode. Like, you almost can't help but feel bad for them, low-key. That was at least me, anyway, when I was watching the episode. So then Labrava just starts hitting Izuku with these weak ass babies like, no, don't take my Gentle, he's my life, don't take him away from me, and all that other shit, let him go, all that shit. And Izuku's just looking at this bitch confused, be like, bitch, what you want about? And then we get some narration from Gentle where he realizes that he tells Labrava to run away, but he won't. But she won't, obviously, and that she wouldn't. And he says that, would you have been happy if you just would have gone, if you ran away by yourself? No. And then she just says like, I'll die. And then while Gentle is having this monologue, Labrava legit says, I'll die before I lose Gentle. I'm like, whoa, hit the brakes, woman. Whoa, we don't need to be going that far, goddamn, woman. Calm down. It reminded me of STL season 1. How many of y'all remember when Austin said to Keita, this is like right before they went to like the 75th floor, and she's like, I'll kill myself if you die. I'm like, whoa, hit the brakes! You know? So anyway, Izuku, or not Izuku, so Gentle is still going on about that. He starts to realize, and while he's talking, you can see like little hearts coming out, coming off of him, so it looks like there's still some power there. He goes on and realizes that the person that accompanied you, accepted you, and brought you in as my partner was me. And if they leave, and if the ectoplasm close and everyone get there, it's obvious. It's going to be obvious that Labrava is her accomplice. You can see a little flashback where she says, where Gentle tells her, "Excuse me, you can't help me because you'll be accomplice to my crimes." She's like, "Oh, I've already committed a crime, so that's really good," you know. And he's like, "Oh, all right." So he realizes that Labrava's probably going to get arrested as much as he is, or at least a crime, or still get punished as well. So Gentle actually fires off, gets like whatever left of the power up, sends Izuku up into the air, sends him flying, and he just gets up there and holds him and Labrava in for a hug. And then Ectoplasm and the other guys come in there, and he says, "UA, I'd like to turn myself in," and that's where the episode ends. So, and this is just a little point to make the crime look a lot less than it already was. So I'm curious to see what punishment or how they're going to do it. It looks like they're not going to cancel anything because they caught him and the arm didn't sound. So I'm curious what their punishment is going to be. Are they just going to get kicked out? They're going to serve jail time? What is going to be their punishment for them getting caught? I'm definitely curious about that. So yeah, also, one other thing I forgot to mention is that Izuku, once he finally pins Gentle down, he says that Gentle, no, I've not faced anyone that harder to beat than you. And I'm like, now Izuku could just be being nice to the guy or showing him his respect, say like, "Hey man, you were a tough opponent." But I'm like, there's no way you could tell me that that gentle criminal, the guy that could just make shit bounce, it was harder than Muscular, a guy that he almost died fighting against, and could have very easily lost his arms, you know, and you had to go into overdrive with one fall. I doubt he's really broke that much of a sweat going up against Gentle. I'm just saying. So maybe it's just being nice. Maybe he's just overselling for his sake. I don't know. I don't know why exactly he said it like that. Maybe like before he could have just been trying to show the guy his respects. I don't know, but I think we as fans know that Izuku's bull is full of shit. So yeah. Overall, this episode was fucking amazing. This was probably one of the best episodes we've gotten from this arc. Maybe my favorite from this arc. This episode was really, really good. Really fucking good. Tell me down below, guys, what you guys thought of this episode. What did you think actually about the whole thing with Gentle and maybe this episode showing like hey, here's why hero lights exist, all that shit. Tell me down below what you guys thought of that, because I think it was pretty interesting, especially after I did that video. When I remember I did a video on that like last year, 2 years ago. So yeah, overall, I'm going to give this episode a 10 out of 10, ladies and gentlemen. So hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new, follow me on Instagram, Twitter, flag, at least sounds Christian box below. And also, I finally hit 150. Thank fucking Christ. I've been like chasing that number for like months, for like 6-7 months. Anyway, see you guys next time.